Has anyone heard of the saying, you are what you eat? So then why is it that we don't pay attention to what we consume? And the Agri-Food Labeling Act does not only affect the food companies, it also affects us as the consumers. I, as a consumer, did various research on this topic, and that's why I think that I am credible to speak about this. By learning about the Agri-Food Labeling Act, you will better understand of how this affects us and what we are consuming. First, I will share some background on what it is that the Act states. Secondly, I will talk about the pros and cons, and lastly, I will talk about some of the health problems and about how we can take a better advantage of this act. So what is the Agri-Food Labeling Act? In order to understand what is the Agri-Food Labeling Act, you first gotta learn what is that the Act states and what is that and how does it affect us as the consumers. According to Jalan C on an article titled Bill seeks to block the mandatory GMO food labeling by states on the website Reuters, last updated on 2014. On the web, he stated that they know that the food movement's power is growing and that the food labeling is not a matter of if, but when. The Food and Drug Administration placed this law so that the manufacturers and the importers become fully informed of what the laws and regulations states before offering the foods for distribution in the U.S. This act requires for the companies to label their nutrients and any health messages. And the Food Labeling Act affects the companies in various ways. One being that the companies have to take more of the time in order to explain their product and how it might affect their consumers. Now that I've discussed what the Food Labeling Act states and how the companies are getting affected, let's move on to the second main point, where what are some of the cons and the pros of the Agri-Food Labeling Act. Okay, so let's discuss the pros and the cons. Some of the pros may be that the consumer gets a better knowledge of what it is that they are consuming. Another pro may be that they get informed if the product may cause any harmful diseases or cause any problems to their health. And this causes companies to be more honest and transparent. According to Callahan H. on an article titled Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act, titled Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act is anything but on the website activist post last updated on Friday, April 11, 2014. The Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act 2014 is supporting something that is safe. On the other hand, some of the cons may be that the consumers ignore the labeling act and causing the act to be useless. After informing you about the pros and the cons of the Food Labeling Act, let's discuss some of the health problems that are caused by what the consumers might be taking and how they can take a better advantage. Some of the health problems that may be caused may be diabetes, overweight, and heart problems. There are many more diseases that can be caused by this problem too, but these are some of the specific ones. They could affect us in various ways, harming our health. According to DeVille, Ahmed J. and Halliwell K. in the Nursing Standard from the journal published in 2014, the number of people who are overweight is rising, and this poses a significant challenge to the healthcare professionals. We can take a better advantage by paying attention to the Labeling Act, by making sure that we are consuming something that is healthy, and by keeping a well-balanced diet. So now that I've talked about the health problems and and how we can take a better advantage of this act, of the Agri-Food Labeling Act, I would like to wrap things up. It is important to discuss the effects in order to understand the Agri-Food Labeling Act. First, I talked to you about what is that the Act states. Secondly, I talked about the pros and cons, and lastly, I talked about the health problems that this might cause. And remember, you are what you eat, so don't be fast, cheap, easy, or fake.